This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening to you. I'm Elizabeth Cook in for Juliette tonight. The clock is ticking. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill only have 2 more days to come to a funding deal before the U.S. government comes to a grinding halt. From national parks to federal offices, we'll certainly see the impacts here in the Bay Area. There are also some big questions about the impact on Fleet Week, which is a huge deal for the city. Tonight, we're the first to tell you a show will go on. Our Kenny Choi heard from the organizers today, as well as some park volunteers.
There are so many layers to this looming shutdown and its potential impact with Fleet Week just around the corner. We also found one group trying to help the National Park Service.
National parks across the country, including San Francisco's Crissy Field, need the manpower of volunteers to keep them as pristine as possible for visitors. Kevin Marks is doing his part.
Confetti and paper has been left all over the place, so I think we did a pretty good job of cleaning up.
It's not just federal employees who will feel the pinch. There's a domino effect that would impact businesses and even groups like Kevin's company that set up a beautification and cleanup effort months in advance with the National Park Service.
If they had no rangers here available to guide us and watch and monitor our work, we wouldn't be able to do this good, valuable nonprofit activity. Gates
are still open for pedestrians, but that could change. Everyday citizens are losing faith in a government that works for them.
It just seems like, there's 2 big factions and there's a whole media presence around each one, and it's hard because there's a lot of mixed messages going around.
I think it is just symptomatic of this general polarization we're seeing in the federal government right now, where there's no middle ground that can be reached.
With Fleet Week all but set to launch, a shutdown would impact events lined up, including the Blue Angels.
You should be down on the Marina Green, where the festivities are all going to be there, and regardless of the presence of the federal government, the Fleet Week air show is going to happen. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
For Kevin and his team of volunteers, they're seeing how the work of so many can disappear.
There's no one to clean the restrooms. There's no one to staff the food vendors. There's no one to just do general cleanup activities, policing activities.
So many uncertainties as federal shutdowns seemingly become as predictable as the tides that come in and out.
Well, some essential workers, including the TSA agents, will have to stay on the job, but they'll have to work without pay. That was the case during the last government shutdown back in 2018, when local airport workers didn't receive a paycheck for 35 days. As for the impact on travelers, experts say, like we saw last round, we could expect longer security lines and more delayed flights. And the shutdown could also delay help for those who need it the most, including aid for women and young children, as well as those who receive food stamps under these SNAP benefits. So what are the long-term implications of all of this? Well, earlier tonight, I spoke with political strategist Carolyn Hellman to get her insights. And what are the long-term implications of all this? If the government does shut down and then it reopens, a lot of things are going to be in limbo, right?
That's correct. And you're looking at 2.2 million workers nationwide who, if depending upon how long this lasts, may find other forms of employment, may decide that, they're kind of sick and tired of a small number of folks in the House of Representatives threatening a government shutdown or threatening not to pay our bills with the debt ceiling. I've got to wonder, whether or not they feel like their jobs aren't as secure as they might be in another sector.
And how long, if this government does indeed shut down, how long do you think it's going to last? And how long do you think Republicans feel like it should be shut down to make their point?
Well, it's a small number of Republicans. The majority of Republicans in Congress, both in the House and the Senate, want to see a continuing resolution. If you recall, a continuing resolution just buys more time. There are a number of bills that need to be passed, and it buys time to do that. But there's a small number of extremist Republicans who are really giving Kevin McCarthy quite a headache. It's 19 of them who won't even allow a continuing resolution bill to get to the floor. It would pass almost immediately because it would have a lot of support from Democrats as well. But they're holding up that process. And the question really is, do they want to show their power and shut down government, or do they actually want to negotiate? So cuts in Ukraine funding. They're certainly talking a lot about immigration right now, FEMA funding, budget cuts across the board. So depending upon whether or not they actually want to negotiate or whether they simply want to flex their power, that will determine whether or not the government shuts down this coming Saturday. How long it lasts? I mean, this will definitely hurt the Republican Party. This is a civil war. This is the product of a civil war within that party.
Well, some other crucial government services, though, will continue uninterrupted. Social Security checks will still go out, Medicare services will continue, and mail will still go out. Disability and VA benefits would also continue as normal. Stay tuned. We'll be staying on top of all this, and we'll bring you the very latest developments on the negotiations on Capitol Hill. You can find the very latest on our website, KPIX.com. All right, let's take a quick break and check in with Paul Hagan now, who is over in our very cool virtual set. Hey, Paul.
Yeah, it's a virtual set, but it is a very real moonrise as we look out from our camera on top of Black Mountain towards the Santa Clara Valley and that full harvest moon rising above the hills above the Santa Clara Valley. Just a beautiful perspective this evening. We are going to see some changes as we finish the work week and head into the weekend. We actually have a chance of showers headed our way. That's going to arrive tomorrow night into Saturday. It's about a 40 to 50% chance, so it's not a guarantee of rain. And if you get one of those showers, it's not going to amount to a whole lot of measurable rainfall, but it's a chance of rain in late September, and that's not always a guarantee around here. We're talking about temperatures taking a dive beginning tomorrow. For Livermore, down to the mid-70s after you were in the low to mid-80s today. Only around 70 on Saturday, and then a steep climb. We're talking low 90s by the end of the first full week of October. So early October feeling more like late August. Late September feeling more like late October. Everything's topsy-turvy. We'll run down the hour-by-hour timing of those rain chances coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. A tragic ending to a rescue mission in San Francisco. A utility worker is dead after a trench collapse at a construction site. Rescue crews tried for hours to bring that man to safety. This happened near Oak and Divisadero Streets in the Lower Haight area. Crews say the man was working on a sewer project when the street above him collapsed. He was trapped under 8 feet of dirt.
The medical examiner is on scene, and they are going to be cognitive and respectful of this individual who has lost his life while ensuring that we have utility services here in San Francisco.
Details of what caused that trench to collapse are still being investigated. To the East Bay now, where the group Save Alameda for Everyone, looking to recall Alameda County DA Pamela Price, can now start collecting signatures. They received approval from the county's registrar of voters. They'll now have 160 days to collect 73,000 signatures from registered voters. Well, Costco seems to sell everything, and I mean everything, and they're only adding to that reputation, offering 24-karat gold bars. Here's what they look like, and if you want one, you may have to act quickly. Costco says they're selling out fast on the company's website. Each 1-ounce piece sells for just under $2,000, non-refundable, and ships through UPS. So why buy gold, right? Well, some consider it a good investment because it has a history of maintaining its value. I wonder if it's going to say Kirkland, though, at the bottom of each gold bar, just to know it came from Costco. Well, thanks for watching. The news continues at 8 o'clock on PIX Plus or on 44 Cable 12. We'll see you here at 11 o'clock.